Good evening, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Google+. This is Rich again, back for your third and final video blog of the night for Monday, July 25th, 2016, around 8:07 in the evening in Berwick, Massachusetts. It's hot and humid, and it's about 80 degrees. Looks like no severe thunder showers for this area tonight. They kind of fizzled out, but we're still in the risk of thunder showers for the next several days because of the hot and humid weather. We do need significant rain, but it's not in the forecast for maybe the next 2 to 3 weeks. They said this weather pattern, we could be in a drought into September, which won't be good. Hopefully we don't get the rain in September or October. Some news to report: the Cleveland Cavaliers re-signed their head coach Tyronn Lue to a 5-year contract extension worth $35 million. He got a significant raise because he won the NBA championship. And when you win an NBA championship, you're due for a significant raise. The Philadelphia Flyers re-signed their forward Brandon Schnitz after they narrowly avoided salary arbitration. He got a 4-year contract extension worth the average of north of $5 million per year. That's a good contract for him. Sad news to report in the world of Hollywood. Actress singer Marnie Nixon passed away at the age of 86. She sang in operas and Broadway and a lot of movies. And another mass incident that happened just a few hours ago, this time at a healthcare facility in the land of the rising sun, Japan. Somebody had a knife, and that person caused a mass stabbing. At least 20 people passed away, and over 40 got seriously injured. These things are just becoming more and more ridiculous by the day, by the week, of all these killings with guns and knives and other dangerous weapons. Something needs to be done about this sooner or later, because the casualties are going to pile up and pile up. This is insanity. Somebody has to step up to the plate and stop this madness, but I don't see anybody stopping it at all. And I hate to say this, it's going to continue until somebody just stops it completely. Prayers to the families involved of the victims. Very sad situation. And that's about it on the news. My third and final video blog subject of the night is about the former sports radio WEEI show Ted Nation, hosted by Ted Sarndis. Ted Nation lasted from December of 1994 to the fall of 2005, and it was hosted by Ted Sarndis. It usually ran on the air weeknights from 7 to midnight when there was no Celtics games or Red Sox games, and Ted Sarndis was the host, and he was a very great host on Ted Nation. Ted would usually talk a lot about the Boston sports scene, especially the college sports. He was a big advocate of the Boston College Eagles because he was the play-by-play voice for them for many years. Was dominated by sports talk for the Boston Red Sox, the Boston Bruins, the Boston Celtics, and the New England Patriots. And during the seasons when Ted Sarandis would do sometimes the show from remote locations like Fenway Park, when he hosted Sox Talk during the years he was on the air, he would broadcasted from the studios they had at Family Park at a restaurant behind the third base side for years, which was open in the seventh inning of each Red Sox home game until like 2 hours after the game. That restaurant's closed now, and it's now Game On. And Ted Sarandis would always have a lot of guests, usually sports writers from like Boston College. Mike Shalin was a regular guest of his. He had Mike Lynch on a few times, and Bob Lobel, and a few others. And Ted Sarandis would always like say something, like he would always talk about Everett Square and the shops up the stuffed sandwich shops there, and he would love to go down there. Plus, Ted Sarandis at one time or another could be a little bit arrogant when he was on the air. He disliked callers who would call more than one time a week, because he says just step aside and let somebody else new and refreshing call in. He would not allow kids, especially under the age of 18, to call. He would shut them off. He never discussed trivia on the air. Also, Ted Sarandis, some of his famous quotes will be out and about. I like to get your view on this situation. And he would also say, wow. But once in a while, if like a caller called up and he was drunk and stuff like that, Ted Sarandis would immediately shut him out, and he would say to him, would you do me one favor? Would you stay off the Boston roads tonight? And the beginning of Ted Nation, like each hour, they would have kind of a theme song. It's a Ted Nation. It's a Ted Nation. Sports Radio WEI. It's a Ted Nation. It's a Ted Nation. Sports Radio WEI. Roger. Or TNT Ted Nation tonight. TNT Ted Nation tonight. TNT Ted Nation tonight, and a few other parodies of songs. And some of the guests on Ted Nation did not get paid a fee, but they were given like $50 in gift cards or gift certificates. Ted Sarandis did the show about for 10 years, but he did not really like the direction that WEEI was going towards the end of his tenure. He had some difficulties with management at WEEI, but he was around when the Red Sox won the World Series in 2004, and he hosted the Sox Talk all the way to 6 a.m. He always would talk positive, and he would, I remember that night he says, on the radio says, let's celebrate this championship. He says, any callers tonight, do not talk about contracts or 2005. And also Ted Sarandis would say, don't talk about the future here and now, because one of his favorite quotes was the late great Hall of Fame coach pro football George Allen. He had on a sign, the future is now. And Ted Sarandis always says, just talk about the present. Don't talk about the future, about teams and stuff like that, because anything could happen. Ted Sarandis left WEEI in the fall of 2005. He briefly brought Ted Nation back to Sports Hub 98.5 during Sundays afternoons in 2010 and 2011, but it wasn't as much popular than the Ted Nation show at Sports Radio WEEI. Ted Sarandis now lives in Florida. I loved his show, Ted Nation. It was one of the best on the air for many, many years. WEEI's lacking a host like Ted Sarandis, who was, very positive and did not shout at his callers that much, unless if they were too drunk. And that's about it on Ted Nation. That's about it on these video blogs, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Google+. I will be back tomorrow with 3 more video blogs coming your way. First video blog will be about the top 10 worst storylines and angles in the history of professional wrestling. Second video blog will be about the former Boston radio show, sports show, The Sports Huddle. And the third and final video blog of the night will be about my take on debt. And that's it. And look, August 1st, next Monday, we'll start the top 100 greatest Major League Baseball players of all time. And then the 100 greatest Major League Baseball pitchers of all time. So be on the lookout for that for the first 20 days in August. And good things are coming for the personality profiles on August as well, so I'll tell you about a little more in a few more days. Don't forget, questions, comments, concerns, shoutouts, plugs, anything you want in this video blog, private message me, will be addressed. Keep calm, everybody. I'm a Julie Bunny guy. Molly Osmala, the WCCO, Roxanne has nice legs. Elizabeth Hutso, so stunning, she's the best. Amy Sweezy rocks, and she's awesome. Amy. Linda Church is such a cool guy. Bob Gibbs of APC 11 has that sweet southern accent. And in the words of good old JR Jim Ross, WWE Hall of Famer, that Don Jezebel. Good night, see you tomorrow.